I've got some exciting news from Mondelez FoodService, the maker of Oreo cookies, Chips Ahoy, Sour Patch Kids, and so many of the iconic snack brands we know and love. They've just launched 1-ounce Belvita Cinnamon Brown Sugar snack packs. Available in bulk cases, these USDA Smart Snack approved packs are great for schools, hospitals, and really any operator who wants to offer customers a tasty treat. Ask your Mondelez FoodService rep about how you can bring these better-for-you bites to schools, healthcare, and more. Or visit mdlzfs.com/Belvita today.
Hello, friends, and welcome to FM On Demand with Tara Fitzpatrick. I'm your host, Tara Fitzpatrick, and today I have a local, for me, person from Cleveland, Ohio. This is Chef Doug Katz. He is well known as a local chef in Ohio for a long time. He's been doing some good things, and I'm a huge fan of his restaurants. And I've gotten to know him a little bit better over the years because he often takes an adventure into the onsite world. He has worked at the art museum before, and now, really exciting, he is getting into healthcare dining. He is partnering with the Cleveland Clinic and Morrison Healthcare, and he's going to be a consulting chef. But once you get to know this guy, you'll realize he's super hands-on, and he's doing much more than just like slapping his name on the operation. And I'm wondering also if senior dining might be next for this guy, because when you see him out in the community, he has a gift with the grandmas and the grandpas in town. I don't know how to explain it, but they hug him, he comes up to the table, and he's just a great person. So please enjoy this conversation with Chef Doug Katz. Welcome, Doug. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So for our listeners, I have known this chef, Doug Katz, this Cleveland chef, for about 10 years. And we first met and I was doing something about ceviche, and you did a demo for me. And that kind of, I've been able to cover you so much because I'm in the non-commercial space, and sometimes you are too. In addition to your restaurants in Cleveland, you've delved into the non-commercial side, and now with the Cleveland Clinic. So I wanted to find out a little bit, how did this come about?
So really, it's an evolution, I think. I love being a chef in my restaurants. I would say that, since I was 7, I wanted to be a chef. And in 2001, I opened my dream restaurant, which was Fire at Shaker Square. And I did everything
iconic
from
Fire. Yes. Fire, food and drink. Just amazing. Yeah. And people miss it too. It left a mark.
Yeah. And, it's still there. It's still, there in spirit. And, but I was going to say.
Well, yeah, you've done different things. That's a whole nother, we won't go too far into that.
But from that experience, I used to come in at 6 a.m. and I would put the stock on. I'd check all the stuff, everything in, and I would run the kitchen all day. And, I sort of did that, independent restaurant thing for a long, long time.
Right, which is a very hard business, as we all know. It's a very challenging business to be in, for sure.
Yes. And as you develop people on your team, you have to make space for those people. And I learned that from the people. And really, actually, the chef that I have currently, Cameron Pijneri, who really runs our kitchens at my current restaurants, said to me, he said, "I will stay here, but you need to get out of the kitchen." And so now I still drive him crazy every day, and I'm behind his back sort of, at every moment. But he runs the kitchens, and that has allowed me we had a huge catering business over the years. I run the food service at the Cleveland Museum of Art. It's allowed me to diversify what I do. And not only is it a great new challenge, but it teaches me so much about different aspects of the industry, and it keeps it interesting for me. And though I have a passion and joy for being a chef and this career in general, it allows me to really compartmentalize my day and have really fun days. I spend a little time here, a little time here, a little time here. And I just love that aspect and this entrepreneurial aspect of being a chef.
For sure. So when the Cleveland Clinic came along, they want you on board as, this is a consulting role, but I wanted to see kind of, what does it entail? How hands-on is it? Because obviously you like to be hands-on, and people are telling you to get out of the kitchen. So you're somebody who wants to be in there. So what are some of the things you're going to be doing?
Well, my passion and joy make it something that I always want to put more into it than they necessarily even want. I mean, I tend to maybe go a little overboard, but
Over
I think my
deliver. I
role,
love it. Yeah.
uh, and my role, I think, is really connecting with the people who are at Morrison, connecting with the medical professionals, connecting with the patients, really immersing myself in the place and learning as much as I can about what the needs and wants are and using my expertise for health. I love, from a personal standpoint, I love eating healthy. I love living healthy through diet and exercise. I love real food. I love ingredients first, and I love creating simple food that tastes delicious and is presented really well. The
Mhm.
Cleveland, I mean, I'm a Cleveland person. I mean, I love Cleveland. I've lived other
Same.
places, but the Cleveland Clinic is, to me, I mean, it's 5 minutes down the street from one of my restaurants. I see the people who work there all the time at my restaurants. Just
Oh,
to
yeah.
have the opportunity to have an impact on the food service at the Cleveland Clinic is just such a joy. And I feel like I can really bring a lot of my passion and joy to the food, and really connect with the people who are on the ground running these operations. And maybe I'll have an impact on what is in the hospital eventually in terms of maybe the public spaces, in terms of concepts.
Mhm.
I certainly will be doing some demos and some trainings with the team. I
Cool.
love gathering information. So I love sort of learning what people want. So whether it's surveys and different things and having different meetings with people, but I'm really there as a catch-all. I mean, I want
Mhm.
to be the person to go to if they need a recipe for something, if they want to learn a technique, if they want to learn about tahini, if they want to learn
Oh,
about
yeah, that's
sustainable
right.
seafood,
I
if
know
they
you've
want
become
to.
my go-to person for tahini.
Oh,
Absolutely. And
thanks.
yes, that company is so wonderful that you've been working with the tahini. Wonderful stuff. Oh
Oh,
my
they're great.
gosh.
And
And
seasonality of food too. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
we're so lucky in Northeast Ohio. We have 4 seasons, and
we do.
we have so much available here. And of course, at the clinic, there is a farmer's market right outside the door. So hopefully, we can connect
That's
in so
right.
many different ways.
That's right. And I'm hoping we'll maybe see some little items from your restaurants, Zhug and Amba. And I don't know if I'm saying it right. How do you say it?
Well,
Zhug?
really,
Zhug.
if you said Zug
Zhug.
properly,
Zhug.
Zug is a Serrano chili and cilantro condiment, and it's really, if you say ha, it's shug, and
Hug.
it's a Yemen. It's from Yemen. It's actually a
Hug.
Yemeni chutney that we serve with our food, and it adds the heightened flavor.
It
Amba
is
is
so
correct, and
amazing.
that's a pickled mango chutney, and that's the Indian-inspired place. So Zug is the
So
Mediterranean.
cool. Oh my gosh. I had the
Just
best meal at the Indian place, Amba. It is so
oh,
moodily lit. I loved it. I went there with my three girlfriends, and one of them couldn't find parking, though. It's hard to park around Amba. What are we going to do about that?
I usually say you gotta, yeah, there's so much street parking and you have to meander through the
It's,
neighborhood and
yeah,
make Amba part of your
I
neighborhood
know.
experience.
Circling
But I'd
in on
also,
Amba.
and I think biking and I think walking and I think getting an Uber or doing whatever, but I think, just really
I know.
not letting it be an issue.
One thing we're not too good on Cleveland is public transportation. We all like to have our own cars, and I know I'm certainly that way for sure. But yeah, that'll be your restaurants are great. I'm just such a fan of your restaurants. Like I just
Thank you.
can't say enough for sure. And I
Yeah.
wanted to talk too about you did an interview with Cleveland.com, aka the
Uh-huh.
Plain Dealer, what the Plain Dealer used to be. And you had mentioned that when you were a kid, you struggled with your weight, and this led
Yes.
kind of into your culinary perspective. So I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about that, because I had not heard that about you.
Sure. So yeah, when I was young, I think at 6 years old, 7 years old, I started noticing my weight gain, and I think it was probably through photographs of looking back that I realized it was that early. But I think it was more of an emotional attachment to food because I wasn't getting that in other ways. I was not into sports. I didn't have a great social relationship with students in the school. I didn't really love school, and so food to me was the positive. And I think I just went overboard and just kept eating and eating. And by 12 years old, I was probably 200 pounds. But I used that experience, I think, because I loved food so much. I wanted to be in the food service industry, and I always
Hmm.
said I was going to be a chef.
Hmm.
And I think it taught me, as you learn in a chef world, the more practice you have, the better the chef you are. I think
Yeah.
dealing with my weight from that age to now,
Mhm.
in the last 6 years or so, I've really been able to create a healthy lifestyle for myself through diet and exercise. I feel like I am an expert when it comes to my personal situation and how
That's
I can
right.
be healthy. But I've
Yeah.
lost about 60 pounds. I eat food that makes me feel good. I exercise. To me, it's all about feeling good, feeling positive. And I know when I eat something that doesn't make me feel good, I
Hmm.
love to eat food that isn't processed. I love eating food where it's from a local farm or there's a story about it. I love eating fruits and vegetables. What's great is I've always loved all food. So I love
Hmm.
all of the healthy things. I don't think I've had McDonald's since I was like 14 years old. I have not had a donut in probably, and it's because I'm a chef and I know too much maybe about
You want,
these
yeah.
things.
Yeah,
And so I want
absolutely.
authenticity in
I
that. And so
know.
yeah, yeah.
I was in complete agreement until the McDonald's. I get it very often.
My parents still do it,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh yeah. No,
I'm fine with it.
you're
I
absolutely
just
right
won't
though,
go with them.
about being an expert in what makes you feel, because bodies are so different. And I've been reading so much about these new weight loss drugs that shows just how much genetics play into it, where it's such an antiquated idea that calories in, calories out, if you eat less and move more. And it's like there's so many people that like that's what I'm doing, it's not working, and then but they get blamed by society like it's your fault, you've done this to yourself. It's like I don't know. There's and that's part of healthcare is food as medicine. So this is all going to kind of tie into that.
And I think too, and I'm certainly not a medical expert, I'm a chef, but I would tell
Right.
you from my experience, there is no immediate, there's no immediate resolution. To
Yeah.
me, and I was even talking to my son yesterday and he was telling me how he was stressed out. And I said, did you eat? Yeah, he had a really busy day. And I said, did you eat or drink today? And he said, when he told me what he had hardly had anything. And I said, you
Yeah.
have to think about an hour and a half ahead of time. Your body needs time to sort of get you to a point where you're ready to, mentally be ready for those experiences. And same with, you know
Yeah.
you have to walk, you have to move your body, you have
Hmm.
to get prepared for, your day. And I think with
Yeah.
weight loss or with your physical self, you can't expect that in a week you're going to solve the problem. It took me six
Yeah.
years really to sort of get to where I am today. And not to say that I'm perfectly healthy, but I'm in a place where I feel so great and better than I've ever felt in my life.
Oh, that's
But
so good. So good to hear.
and I love knowing that it's taken that long, because I know that there's longevity and there's habits and there's things that I do now that I can really rely on. So though we all want that thing that is going to just solve the problem for us, I think we have to realize that it is a process, and
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that process for other people, because I feel that there's so many ways to make yourself feel better, whether it's, weight is not the only thing. It's not about
That
this
should not be
person
the
who's
measure of it.
no,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's about how you feel every day. And if
Hmm.
you need to use food in a way that makes you feel better.
Yes. And it is, and being a chef, you're not just of the mindset like my food is my fuel. Like I met this person one time that was like real into weightlifting, and he said that he eats the same thing every day, chicken and rice. And I'm like, well, that could be good. Like how do you season it? And he was like, season. Some people like literally could just put the same thing in their body and like be fine. But it's like when you love food, it's like, no, we need the variety. So that's always like
Now,
I could not be on a monotony type of a diet at all.
I
So
I love that example. Like, to me as a chef, where I would consult with that person on this, spices add so much flavor and they also
yeah,
add so much nutrient to your body. So if you
right.
just one day season that chicken with turmeric, or if you used cumin and
I know.
chili, and you could change that chicken and rice every day of the week. I have to say, one of my favorite things is eating rice, and I love sauteing onions and getting this flavor into the rice and using that as a
Yes.
base. But yeah.
Yes. And that inspires me. I found this old children's book in my home. This is mine when
Oh,
I was a kid. It's called
oh,
Chicken Soup with Rice. It's
Maurice Sendak.
Maurice Sendak
Oh,
from The Wild
oh.
Things. And it has each month that it goes through and he's
I
eating
want
chicken
that
soup.
book.
Yes. All right. Well, we can arrange that. Not this one. This is my
Or
favorite.
no,
Personal
I'm actually.
copy.
Oh, I love that you showed me that. I didn't know he did that.
Oh, yeah, it's so good because and it's very old too. It says here, like I think it was first published like early 60s or something. Yeah, 1962. So very cool.
You bring that up, and the Stone Soup book. I don't know if you know that one. That's one of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Those are so
And
great.
I
I would
think of
love to
that.
write a kid's book about food one day. I mean, it's been
I'll
done,
help you.
but okay,
I won't write
let's do
it, but
it.
I'll help you do
Yes,
the testing or something.
let's do it. That is such a great idea. I would love that opportunity. And I wanted to ask you some more things about
Sure.
just sort of the community of the Cleveland Clinic. And I'm thinking there are definitely people of all ages who go there, but there's definitely older people. And I have seen you with my own eyes in action, the way that you are so good with the older grandmas and grandpas in our community. Like in your restaurants, they hug you, they come up to you. And I think you've said to me before even that you kind of feel like they're just your grandmas and grandpas too. So we cover senior dining here too. So it's like maybe down the road,
Yes.
especially as you get older, you may work in senior dining.
Well, and one of the people who's had the biggest impact on my career was my grandmother, and she's no longer with us, but I think of her every day, and I think of what she taught me, and I have such respect for the older population. My parents are, elderly at this point, and I just love connecting with people. And so if I can connect, and elderly people, love connecting more maybe than than people who are busy in their, midlives, and
Yeah.
I just love knowing who's coming to my restaurants or I love knowing the people that I'm servicing. And so being a part of the hospital community is much like being a part of a restaurant community. And I hope that I can visit patients and visit the medical professionals and the employees and be a part of the daily experience there and learn as much as I can to impact what they're looking for and learn from them, because I can then really help in a much better way. And yeah, I
For sure. Yeah.
and health is generational as well. So as you talk about the elderly
It
people, they're going
is.
to teach us much more about
Yeah.
what things used to be like or what we could do, or they have opinions about
I
things that are
know.
really
Yes.
important.
The average person who's 90 right now has seen so many things. Like they can remember when there was no TV. Like, I mean, it's amazing. And I'm sure you're familiar with the blue zones diets, where these places in the world where people just live extraordinarily long. A big part of it is that community. That's what they keep coming back to, because it's like some of them drink wine, some of them don't. A lot of them have olive oil, some don't. But like the thing in common is like we all just gather at like, and I think the workaholic mindset that America has plays into that too, because so many other countries, they're like, at lunchtime, we just like all get together with they basically have a party and then they sleep. It's like, I would feel great too if I could do that. So.
I mean, I know for myself, at times when I don't feel so great, you tend to sort of recede and you sort of just are by yourself. And when you do feel good, you connect with other people. And it's taught me how community is so important in your health, and how connecting with other people and life experience with other people, traveling with people, having, just coffee with people, or just, it's so important to connect with people in your community. And you're having a bad day and you connect with someone and you feel so much better. Or you go to the park and you walk in the sunlight and see the water and you happen to, walk with a friend, or yeah, I think connecting is so important, and being with other people.
It's definitely so true. Speaking of travel, do you have anything planned towards the end of the year? Anything exciting?
I am a traveler for sure.
You
And to me as a
You're
chef,
always going somewhere.
that is how I learn about culture and about different foods and about our world. I actually just was in Barcelona and in Paris and in London. I just got back. I was in Mexico City and Colombia this year. I hope to go to Peru in February. I mean, I love India. I was in India. I've been in Turkey. I love traveling and seeing culture from around the world. And when you think of the foods that people use in their communities and in these ways, it teaches us so much about what we can do in our communities. And that's why my restaurants focus on ethnic foods. I'm a kid from Shaker Heights that grew up, eating a certain way, but my travel and my experience has really allowed me to bring that sort of flavor back to Cleveland. And that's really what I
Yes.
love to do for our community. I want Cleveland to have these opportunities for people in a and in an authentic, healthy way,
Right.
experience these foods that I've been so lucky to do with my travels. So
It's so true. And the
yeah.
people of Cleveland, if I can speak on their behalf, we're so lucky to have you here. We're so glad that you
No.
brought it back to Cleveland. So we have so
Thank
much
you.
pride here, so much hometown pride. And just really,
Thank
really
you
appreciate you. We're proud of you.
No, thank you.
So cool. All right. Well, we're going to definitely stay in touch with you as you do more things at the clinic. And yeah,
Love it.
let's stay in touch. Thanks again for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And I would love to talk to you anytime, and I appreciate it.
I've got some exciting news from Mondelez FoodService, the maker of Oreo cookies, Chips Ahoy, Sour Patch Kids, and so many of the iconic snack brands we know and love. They've just launched 1-ounce Belvita cinnamon brown sugar snack packs. Available in bulk cases, these USDA Smart Snack approved packs are great for schools, hospitals, and really any operator who wants to offer customers a tasty treat. Ask your Mondelez FoodService rep about how you can bring these better-for-you bites to schools, healthcare, and more. Or visit mdlzfs.com/Belvita today.